All right, so we're back with another video, and this is going to be a very interesting video because we've clearly in the market hit some inflection point, let's say, within the bull market where it's clear that we're in a bull market in case it wasn't before. Now, I want this video to be longer lasting than just the bull market that is clearly right now, but so it should be able to last as understanding how the lazy summer protocol allows you to adapt to different, let's say, market structures or market outlooks or something like that. So, but really specifically, it's how do we prepare, how do we take advantage of, or how do we sort of reach our potential within this bull market. So something that is really interesting, or something that's very common, let's say, is a common question that people have is, all right, I know it's a bull market, what do I do, how do I do it, what how do I take advantage of it, and if it's your first bull market, then welcome, congratulations. If it's your second, maybe you have learnings from last time, which we can talk about, and if it's your third or your fourth, then welcome back. So basically what we want to address here is how, it's a bull market, how do we take advantage of that, how do we use the lazy summer protocol within that context. So of course the lazy summer protocol is all about getting the best yields all of the time, and the first thing when it comes to this is the level of adventurousness or the level of aggressiveness that you want to achieve or have within the types of yields that you're seeking. So it's a bull market. Rates are probably going to be higher when it comes to stablecoin yields. And if you decide to do a higher risk, more aggressive yield strategy, that's probably one way to take advantage of that. Similarly, in the ETH higher risk strategy, similar thing kind of implies, but generally speaking, the rates of ETH will be a little bit lower, most likely. So the broader question here is, well, how do you use the lazy summer protocol to take advantage of the bull market? You can't buy shit coins on the lazy summer protocol. You can't do 10x, 20x, 30x leverage on the lazy summer protocol. Although we do have some interesting features that are going to be rolled out very shortly, which we'll talk about at a different time. But one other perspective is really sort of slow and steady. The notion of slow and steady wins the race. And I think that that's really a great framing and a great way to think about the lazy summer protocol within the context of the this bull market. So what does that mean? What does that mean specifically? So when it comes to the bull market, or a bear market for that matter, a lot of people will say, well, how much exposure do they want to have to X, Y, or Z speculative asset versus stablecoins? Somebody that I know, for example, I remember telling me that they, within, I think a few months ago or something, they, decided to go full stablecoins because their outlook was quite bearish at the time, which I think was probably at the time the right decision. I think this was right before the tariffs, or the Liberation Day rather. So for them, maybe that was the right decision at the time. But the broader point is around portfolio construction. What kind of exposure do you want to have to these different assets? I think that is really the power of the lazy summer protocol when it comes to the bull market. So right now it's ETH and USDC. Soon it will be BTC, ETH, and USDC. And these are the highest quality assets in crypto, really, not just DeFi. You know, the best stablecoin, you know, the probably the most, certainly the highest market cap asset, BTC, will be here relatively shortly, and the second highest market cap asset will be here, or is already here, with the highest quality yields, which is ETH, and maybe, you know, soon after that will be Solana. So my point is here is that you're always getting the best yields. Now you always have the best assets, and you can easily construct a portfolio to say, hey, I want to be 80% in ETH and 20% in USDC, or opposite, I want to be 20% in ETH and 80% in USDC, depending on how you feel about the bull market and where we are going with the market. And I think that is the best way to utilize the lazy summer protocol within this bull market, is really being judicious and really being thoughtful around the portfolio construction that you want to have on a relative basis. So, like, you know, speculative exposure in ETH versus, you know, for example, USDC, and shortly BTC. Now, you might ask yourself, well, do I have to withdraw and then, you know, swap and then come back and deposit and do all this different stuff? And the answer is no. You know, within the lazy summer protocol, we make it really, really easy to be able to switch your position. So, you know, you can see on the right hand side here, we have switch, which means that, you know, as a user, you can go, for example, straight from ETH to USDC in, you know, one transaction, which is really a beautiful thing. And that to me is really the power of the lazy summer protocol in the context of this bull market. So just to recap, I think really being able to, you know, be patient and have your assets always earning yield, number one, within the bull market, and then number two, being able to have this portfolio construction, yield, specifically yield portfolio construction, whether that's speculative exposure or stablecoin exposure throughout the bull market, and maybe even just having that as, like, you know I want to be, you know, 80-20 all the time, and being able to easily rebalance that with the switch position really easily. And that's, you know, for example, as those things get out of whack, as the bull market continues, you know, you can be sure that you're always sort of harvesting your gains, let's say, and then even further so earning yield on those gains, for example, which is just one example of a portfolio construction. You know, some people might want to be 50-50, some people might want to be 90-10, you know, and as we onboard BTC markets, maybe you want to be, you know, 60-20-20, depending on your preference. So yeah, that's one way that I think the lazy summer protocol is just super powerful in terms of taking advantage of the bull market, keeping yourself honest, and keeping a level and objective head on your shoulders as we progress here.